We had one in St. Augustine, too, that I'll get to in a second. Deputies arrested a 13-year-old Palatka senior high school student on Monday afternoon after he made a written threat to kill 2 female classmates.
Oh.
How scary this has to be for them and their parents.
God's sakes.
The student identified as, oh, wow, they're identifying the kids now.
They are mad.
They're not putting up with this stuff, man. Denislo Hernandez Perez was charged with sending a written threat to kill. The victims. I mean, you do something like this, you just get treated as an adult. It's no more we're handling you with kid gloves, man.
Right.
The victims reported the threat to the school administrator, showing the messages in which Hernandez Perez indicated that he planned to bring a gun to school. He also sent photos of 2 firearms, asking the victims to choose which one he should use. That's just psychotic. It's just psychotic. The school administrator promptly alerted deputies who took Hernandez Perez into custody. Sheriff Gator Deloach emphasized the seriousness of the situation, stating that the threats made at schools would result in immediate action and community notification. Basically saying, we're gonna call you out. We're gonna tell people who's doing this. We're not treating you like a kid. He stressed that age is no excuse for such behavior, asserting that Hernandez Perez knew he was threatening other students and continued to do so. The sheriff urged parents to take responsibility for their children's actions, suggesting they confiscate phones and electronics to prevent such incidents. Deloach made it clear that he would publicly post photos and names of those making threats to ensure community awareness. I think he was the one that's also making sure every student who does this gets a perp walk. They get a videoed perp walk, and they get their,
shame.
Yeah, their walk of shame, man.
But is that like, I'm just trying to think of the culture. Is that like street cred? Is that like, are they like hunting for that?
I mean, maybe you could look at it that way.
You're not making it back to those people.
Yeah.
I know something's got to change, and this has changed, but I'm just saying.
But I totally get where you're coming from, because that's part of why these copycat incidents happen, right? Is because people see that and they're like, well, I want people saying my name on the news. Right. Well, I think these perp walks, and excuse my language here, one of the first times I'm ever going to give you a heads up on me about to say language. But I think these perp walks are intentionally meant to make the person look like a little bit. Like we're not treating you like a little badass. I mean, when they were doing this walk,
he's a scared little tick turd.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to show that off. They're going to let people know that you are not as tough as you pretend to be. So another one of these happened at Tocoi Creek High School yesterday. Student arrested for threatening a mass shooting via Snapchat. Yesterday, SJSO Youth Services deputies arrested a 15-year-old Tocoi Creek High School student on felony charges related to Florida Statute 836.10, which pertains to written or electronic threats to kill, do bodily injury, or conduct a mass shooting. Deputies received a tip through Fortify FL. This is the one we were talking about yesterday, and conducted a threat assessment that involved evaluating the student's history, any previous behavior issues, interviews, and the home environment. This is very, very similar to what we heard on Friday with the student at St. Augustine High School.
Right.
The investigation revealed the student made threats via Snapchat, stating, "I'm going to shoot up Tocoi High School tomorrow." Which, it generated significant fear and concern throughout the community. Based on the information discovered during the initial investigation and threat assessment, the threat was deemed a high risk, and the decision was made to arrest the student out of concern for the safety of other students and staff. Threats of violence at our schools, this is a quote, will not be tolerated. This arrest and previous arrests should be a clear message to any and all. Threats will be investigated immediately. We will find you, and you'll be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law.
And take their social media away, period. Like, they can't have it anymore. I feel like that disqualifies you for having that luxury.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's a decision that's made by the parents. And a lot of parents are just all too happy to give their kids social media to get them out of their hair.
Right, exactly.
You know, and that's where a lot of these problems start, man.
Mm-hmm.
I know people pick on helicopter parents, and I'm a helicopter parent 100%. But you know what? You have to be a helicopter parent. It's part of the job.
Yeah.
So, you know
that, yeah.
I mean, it's just some of these kids. Like I think a lot of times it's asking for help or reaching out for attention.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be famous no matter what it takes. I see that disease out there.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. I wish there was a magic pill. So.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Superintendent Tim Forson now urging vigilance and accurate reporting amid a surge in school threats, he's saying. Put out a letter yesterday that said something to the effect of, "Dear parents and guardians, since the horrific school shooting in Georgia, we have had a very high number of threats and false threats reported." He said, "We will pursue and investigate all reports, engage law enforcement in investigations, and enforce our student code of conduct to the fullest extent." Goes on to say resources are being used in schools, staff, and students are being negatively impacted due to these reports. So it hasn't been just these. Apparently, there have been numerous threats. Our community is more vulnerable due to the recent tragic school shooting, which has redirected resources to focus on each and every one of these reports. He said, "We heavily rely on Fortify FL." That program's just come up too much this week, man. To receive reports of suspicious activity, threats, and dangerous behaviors within our district. And he said, they ask, "If you see something, say something." Said, "We need your help to ensure that what is being reported is of actual and immediate concern, knowing that resources will be immediately deployed to investigate and address the situation." He said, "When false reports are made, we will investigate the source of the threat and pursue charges as appropriately." He goes on to say, "I truly believe that it takes our St. Johns County School District families, staff, law enforcement, and our community to make sure our schools are safe and secure, and our most precious asset, our students, are safe." So you got, again, there's just too much of this happening, and school superintendent now just putting out these letters to parents. Hey, watch your kids. Be watching what's going on.
Yeah. In the comments, Jeff just said, Volusia County arrested 11-year-old for school threats. 11-year-old.
That's crazy, man. I wasn't even thinking of things like that.
No, I was thinking of how high I could build my ramp and not kill myself on my bicycle.
Right. Yeah, man. It's very sad what's going on. To y'all's point, social media.
Take it away.
Social media. Take it away. Get your kids a dang flip phone, man.
That's exactly what they're saying in comments.
Yeah.
That all kids should have flip phones instead of iPhones or something. Yeah.
What the tough part is, a lot of parents in these days, when there are threats of other students and threats of other people coming in contact with your kids in negative ways, a lot of parents want at least a smartphone that's going to have like that Life 360 app, right? Where they can see where their kids are at all times on a map. That's something you can't do with a flip phone. So, there are phones out there. There's the Gab phone. That's basically a smartphone, but it doesn't let you put social media apps on there.
Oh, Troy, what are the ones we give the senior citizens? Is that Jitterbug?
Yeah.
Right?
That's what it is.
Love that I pivot to him.
Yeah.
Little.
Yeah. Just give them the Jitterbug.
Yeah.
Look,
Big buttons. It'll be cute. They can bling it out.
And as we're going through this old quote, and I think you guys probably have seen it online. It's like, hard times create strong men create easy times create
weak men create hard times. It's a cycle.
And so it's kind of like, where are we at? Are we at that bottom right now with what we see going on right now? Is that where we're at?
Yeah, we're in hard times for sure.
I think we enable them too much. We absolutely do. There were so many restrictions on as we were kids. We didn't, go in the back of video scene where the beaded curtain was. You just didn't because we weren't allowed. But now kids just do anything they want to do. I just
they
think
know so much more by the age of 12 than we did, and you hear a lot of people say, and a lot of people are probably screaming in the comments right now, parents need to discipline their kids. And we're in such a weird time too, where parents are afraid to discipline their kids.
Right.
Because it is a thing for students, and there's a lot of them that use this against their parents. I mean, a lot of students will just say, we're going to call CPS.
Right.
You touch me, I'm going to call CPS. And that is a very real threat because CPS will come out. They will do an investigation. That's scary as hell for the parents. So it's such a weird time for young people who need discipline, but parents in many cases are scared to do it. Because that is a real threat that happens today.
Well, it takes time away from their social media is what a lot of the problem is. I mean, the parents aren't parenting. And
that's happening too.
So, it's easier to put that phone right in front of them or that tablet in front of them and then go do your social media over here and not really focus on what's going on in the guy. That's what I'm saying. Hey, be a helicopter parent. Know what's going on. Know what your kids are looking at.
Yeah, you have to. And there's lots of apps you can get that
basically
give you control over your kid's phone and let you see every single thing they're typing, and even that let you turn off the apps at a certain time of day.
I've seen a lot of that. Like they'll allot a certain amount of time that a kid can play or do something in the digital world.
Yeah. I don't know. If I were a parent, and Troy gives me grief a lot of times for talking about stories related to kids while not being a parent. But, if I were a parent, I would probably take the phones away around 8 o'clock. Hey, 8 o'clock, or find a cutoff time. Mm-hmm. Here's a cutoff time. No more electronics. No more phones.
Honestly,
no more games.
You're right.
There
needs to be rules and regs.
Yeah.
So it was an earned behavior. And it's not like it was now. I mean, my boys are 21 and 23, but it was an earned behavior. You had to act right, and then you could get this.
Yeah.
Or it was limited, but even then, you're like over their shoulder the whole time.
Mm.
So I mean, it's
it's a weird time.
It's part of the job.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. You signed up for it. You signed up for it. It's time to take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. We got the Gas Buddy Gas Report coming at us this morning.